Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. So guys, today's topic is what is the G20. See guys, the G20 or Group of 20 is an international forum for governments and central bank governors from 19th centuries and the European Union. The G20 was founded in 1999 in response to the financial crisis of the late 1990s, which highlighted the need for a more inclusive forum of major economies to discuss global economic and financial issues. The G20 economies account for about 85% of global GDP, 75% of international trade, and two-thirds of the world's population. History and formation. The origins of the G20 can be traced back to the aftermath of the 1997 Asian financial crisis. The crisis exposed the limitations of the existing global economic architecture, particularly the G7, which included only the world's largest advanced economies, recognizing the need for a broader and more inclusive platform. The finance ministers mm, and central bank governors of the G7 countries decided to create the G20. The inaugural meeting of the G20 took place in Berlin in December 1999. Initially, the G20 was a meeting of finance ministers and the central bank governors and central bank governors. However, the global financial crisis of 2008 demonstrated the need for a higher level of political involvement, and in 2008 the first G20 leaders summit was held in DC was held in Washington DC. Since then, G20 leaders have met annually to discuss a wide range of global issues. Membership. The G20 consists of 19 countries and the European Union. The member countries are number 1 Argentina, number 2 Australia, are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States. The European Union is represented by the European Commission and the European Central Bank. Additionally, the G20 invites other countries and international organizations such as the United Nations, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and World Trade Organization to its meetings to ensure comprehensive discussions. Structure and functioning. The G20 doesn't have a permanent secretariat or headquarters. Instead, the presidency of the G20 rotates annually among its members. The country holding the presidency is responsible for organizing and hosting the meetings, setting the agenda, and coordinating the activities of the G20 for that year. The presidency also forms a troika, also forms a troika with the previous and next presidencies to ensure continuity. The G20 operates on a consensus basis, meaning that all decisions and declarations require the agreement of all member countries. This structure encourages dialogue and cooperation, but can also make it challenging to reach unanimous agreements on contentious issues. In addition to the Leaders Summit, the G20 holds several meetings at various levels throughout the year, including finance ministers and central bank governors meetings, Sherpa meetings, senior officials responsible for preparing the summit, working groups, and ministerial meetings on specific topics such as trade, employment, health, and digital economy. Key issues and agendas. The G20 agenda is extensive and covers a wide range of global issues, while the primary focus remains on economic and financial matters. The scope has expanded to include topics such as climate change, sustainable development, health, and digitization. Digitalization. Here are some of the key issues discussed at G20 meetings. Number one, global economy. The G20 discusses macroeconomic policies, financial regulation, and strategies for promoting sustainable economic growth. Coordination among major economies is crucial for addressing global economic challenges and preventing financial crises. Number two is trade and investment. Promoting free and fair trade is a significant priority for the G20. The group works to reduce trade barriers, resolve trade disputes, and enhance global investment flows. Number three is financial regulation. In response to the global financial crisis of 2008, the G20 implemented significant financial regulatory reforms to enhance the stability of the global financial system. These reforms include measures to strengthen banks, improve oversight of financial markets, and increase the transparency. Number four is climate change and energy. The G20 addresses climate change by promoting policies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, supporting the transition to renewable energy sources, and enhancing energy efficiency. The group also works on ensuring energy security and access to affordable energy. Number 5. Development. The G20 is committed to supporting sustainable development and reducing global inequalities. These includes promoting inclusive growth, enhancing infrastructure investment, and supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Number 6 is health. Global health issues such as pandemics and access to health care are critical topics for the G20. The COVID 19 pandemic highlighted the importance of international cooperation in addressing health crises and strengthening global health systems. Number 7 is digital economy. The G20 recognizes the transformative potential of digital technologies and works on policies to promote digital innovation, enhance cyber security, and bridge the digital divide. Number 8 is employment and labor. Promoting job creation, improving labor market conditions, and ensuring social protection are essential aspects of the G20 agenda. The group focuses on policies to enhance skills development, to reduce unemployment, and promote decent work, achievements, and impact. The G20 has played a crucial role in addressing global economic and financial challenges. Some of its notable achievements include: Number 1. Response to the global financial crisis. The G20 was instrumental in coordinating a global response to the 2008 financial crisis. The group implemented significant financial reforms, provided substantial fiscal stimulus, and promoted international cooperation to stabilize the global economy. Number 2 is financial regulatory reforms. So, guys, the financial regulatory reforms. The G20 has introduced comprehensive financial regulatory reforms to enhance the resilience of the global financial system. These reforms include the higher capital requirements for banks, improved oversight of financial institutions, and measures to address systemic risks. Number three is support for development. The G20 has promoted initiatives to support development in emerging and adopting and developing sorry in emerging and developing in emerging and developing economies. This includes enhancing infrastructure investment, promoting financial inclusion, and supporting sustainable development projects. Number four is climate action. The G20 has committed to addressing climate change and supporting the implementation of the Paris Agreement. The group has promoted policies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, enhancing energy efficiency, and supporting the transition to renewable energy. Number five is health initiatives. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the G20 coordinated efforts to support global health systems, ensure equitable access to vaccines, and promote economic recovery. The group has also emphasized the importance of strengthening global health infrastructure and preparedness for future pandemics. Criticisms and challenges. Despite its achievements, the G20 Despite its achievements, the G20 faces several criticisms and challenges. Number one is inclusivity and representation. While the G20 includes major advanced and emerging economies, it doesn't represent all countries. Critics argue that the group should be more inclusive and include voices from smaller and less developed nations. Number two is decision making process. The consensus based decision making process can be slow and cumbersome, making it challenging to reach agreements on contentious issues. This can limit the effectiveness of the G20 in addressing urgent global challenges. Number three is implementation of commitments. There is often a gap between the commitments made at G20 meetings and their implementation. Ensuring that member countries follow through on their commitments remains a significant challenge. Number four is coordination with other international organizations. The G20 needs to coordinate effectively with other international organizations such as the United Nations, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank to avoid duplication of efforts and enhance global governance. Conclusion: the G20 is a vital forum for international economic cooperation and plays a crucial role in addressing global challenges. Its its broad agenda, which includes economic policy, trade, climate change, health, and development, reflects the interconnected nature of today's world. Despite its criticisms and challenges, the G20 remains an essential platform for dialogue and collaboration among the world's largest economies. As global issues become increasingly complex, the G20's role in promoting international cooperation and policy coordination will continue to be critical for ensuring a stable and prosperous global economy. So, guys, that is the end of our today's topic. Signing off.